in order to live your best life, sometimes you have to say no even to the things you do want in order to get the things you want even more.
Hi, I'm Juhi,
And I'm Matt.
and welcome to our channel.
Welcome to our channel.
And we like to make this video because we are living in the UK again.
Again, yeah, for the second time. So we want to talk about why we're leaving, but before that, we wanted to say a little something about how we got here and how much we've enjoyed our life here in Belfast. Um, so we're from the US originally, and we spent years living as digital nomads. And during that time, we stayed in Scotland for quite a while. And we really liked that. And when we thought about settling somewhere, the UK was a clear winner. So we moved to Scotland and
Tried to move Aberdeen because
we
I
succeeded.
yes
We
we
did move
did we
there.
did we
We
did
lived there for almost a year.
yes.
Yeah. We loved it a lot. Um, what happened was that I'm a writer and we got a visa that allows us to stay here as an artist. And after most of a year in Scotland, we found that things were proving harder for us than we had hoped. The weather was a little harder to adjust to. The cost of living was hard for us to survive on.
This cost of living is like getting high. Yep.
Yeah, well, after a year, the weather really got to us a little. The cost of living um, proved deceptively high, and we decided we needed a break.
So after live in Scotland after 1 year, we decided to go to the Southeast Asia and try a little different life.
Yeah, and that was really wonderful. But at the same time, we were kind of missing the UK. I had felt like it was a tremendous accomplishment to have received a visa, to be accepted here. And we had originally, when we had come to the UK, we had intended to stay here forever, and I wasn't quite ready to give that up. And since the terms of our visa had allowed us to be gone for a while and still come back, we decided we really wanted to give one more try to the UK. And this time we were going to live in Northern Ireland, which is something that I had always wanted to do. I was really excited to try, which we weren't able to do before we left. So we moved to Belfast and we just found it like really amazing. So I think a lot of what we want to talk about is Belfast itself and Northern Ireland. And
And pros and cons of the life in UK in general and in Belfast.
so yeah, I mean, I think that that's really important to say that just because we're leaving doesn't mean that we don't love Belfast, Northern Ireland, or the UK, because we really, really have. When we knew that we wanted to live abroad, the UK was always our first choice at the time. We had loved our time here. We had loved the feeling of the place, the architecture, the people. All of it was like really really drew us. It really connected to us, and we felt like it was a big upgrade for us from the life we had known in the U.S.
Yes, and the Belfast now from almost 2 years are our home, and we loved it here a lot. And it's a very very hard decision to really move out. It's it's bitter, and I mean it's sad. Same
Yeah.
time it's like we have to do what we have to do for future.
Yeah, I would say some real advantages that the UK had for us. They had there's a better work-life balance. People get more holiday time, more they are less likely to have to work insane hours. So they get a bit more time with their family, um, and it is of course it's a better cost of living than the U.S. And all the things that we mentioned before, how beautiful the landscape is, the architecture,
And Irish pubs,
Irish pubs, yeah,
my
and our
favorite.
Irish friends. We're gonna miss them a lot. Like we really made some friends here, and we definitely have no regrets about coming to live here. It was one of the best things we did.
Yes, even we are leaving, we will surely gonna come back for visit our friends and Belfast. And yeah, it's gonna be the stay with us forever. This
Y-
memory is this.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think our friends that we're leaving is some of the hardest things to leave.
yeah.
But at the same time, there are some downsides that we found here to life in the UK. Partly, while the cost of living is better than the US, it's still the whole Western world has a certain economic reality that requires people to work really hard just to stay in one place.
Yeah,
Uh,
we both work full times. But we still cannot make living here somehow. It's just no working.
yeah, I mean,
It's
forget getting ahead. It's
yeah,
like,
just bare minimum.
yeah.
Just bare minimum. We can pay our rent and buy groceries, and that's pretty much it.
Well, living as nomads, we were accustomed to travel and seeing new things, and since we've been here, we have not had the money for hardly anything, even on this island, and that has been there's been a persistent disappointment. Also, we found that the pace of life may be better than the U.S., but still very fast because of how much work was necessary. And that meant that we had a lack of time with each other, a lack of time with our daughter. Um, we just didn't see each other as much as we used to.
After working full day, I felt I have no energy for anything else. Really, I was seeing my daughter only early morning with breakfast, or when I come back from work, 6:30 or 7ish, and my daughter will stay with me like hour and a half. Then is her bedtime,
Yeah,
and that's
make
it.
dinner, have dinner, and
So I
yeah,
was really only seeing her on weekends, and it was bothering me to think like my daughter is growing every day, and I'm just not with her. Also, one thing I noticed, like I felt we were both were growing apart slowly, slowly. I felt that, like me and my kid, and me and my husband also, we did not have as much time with to us. Really, I was
yeah.
tired. I was falling asleep on couch all the time.
Yeah, for people that had been accustomed to spending a lot of time together, working together, taking every meal together, having coffee breaks together, talking constantly, that was a really hard adjustment. You know, I've worked from home for what 11 years now, so it was a really hard adjustment to having to feel like we were constantly apart and never had time for each other.
Also, one thing I want to mention, we moved here from Florida, and I love snowfall. That's why we. That's one of the things I was looking forward. But it's not fun to work in snow, going out in snowfall, buying groceries, throwing trash. None of them is fun.
That was more of a factor in Aberdeen. We hardly had any snow in Belfast, but what it does have here, and the weather I think was a big factor for us. It has a lot of wind and rain and cold, like 10 months out of the year at least. And the other 2 months, it is really quite hot because the buildings are designed to hold the heat, and there's no AC, so it becomes swelteringly hot inside, and we have to leave the windows open, which brings me to a problem that was really the only problem for me that I had no idea I would face when I came here, which is that Belfast has a very pronounced grass pollen season, which I'm allergic to. I have hay fever. And so for those 2 months a year, the only 2 months when we weren't freezing, I sneeze constantly. It's like um, constant allergy attack that just never stops. So like even with medicine, I wake up constantly just coughing and sneezing, and it's pretty miserable. And that was one thing to deal with for a year, 2 years, whatever. But looking at the whole course of our life and thinking, am I just going to do this for the rest of my life? Because it's a thing that doesn't happen to me in the tropics because of different quality of pollen and different.
Same
Yeah.
thing. I feel I was not. It wasn't bothering me going to work and all that, but I was asking myself, do I want to do this my whole life? Do I want to become 67-year-old lady while I'm working this hard? And my answer was no. I just cannot see myself working this hard all the time and just growing old without seeing milestone in my daughter's life, or us being like our own different personalities.
I think we are privileged because of the nature of my work that we can live anywhere. For me, making money in dollars or pounds, we can choose to live in a place where those go further, where we can work fewer hours or live on one salary, and still have a good life. And I know that we can do that because we have done that in the past. We have lived as nomads, and it was some of the best times in our lives. So even though this decision to leave Belfast is really hard, we think that it's the right decision. I we were talking about this the other day, and the reality is that in order to live your best life, sometimes you have to say no even to the things you do want in order to get the things you want even more.
That's absolutely right, because I feel I want to live in UK and in Southeast Asia, but of course we cannot do that.
Yeah.
So my heart is so conflicted what I want to do. So we have to make one hard choice.
Yeah, and it really has torn us back and forth. Like we definitely feel like um, we will be leaving pieces of our heart in all the places that we have lived and
Well,
traveled.
that is the downside of living digital nomad life. We have our piece of
You're
our
gonna love
heart.
it too much, yeah.
Yes,
Uh,
now we just feel like we cannot go back to the life we used to had before. Our piece of our heart is everywhere, all of those countries where we live, people we met.
Always, yeah. The places, the vibe. Every city has its own unique vibe and feeling when you're walking around. And for us who typically like to walk around the city, you really get a sense of each place, and then you miss it when you leave because it felt like it was home for a little while. And I know that's going to be really hard leaving Belfast, but at the same time, like when I consider the the idea of life here is amazing, but the actual practical day-to-day life is it's more difficult. It's a lot more difficult. And I was talking to that to my editor, and she said something like, uh, perhaps give weight to day-to-day life since that's what you're going to spend most of your life doing is living day to day. And I think that's really true. Like I have no regrets about our choice to come back here.
Yeah, no
It it
regrets.
it, it is
Absolutely not.
amazing. But for us, just for us personally, it doesn't seem like it's going to be our best life. And yeah, we got to go for our best life, and no one else has to live our life, but we do, and we want to live it with as few regrets as
And
possible.
and I know some people going to think we are crazy and what we doing, why are we doing this again? But we know what we felt. That's our own life, and I don't want to answer anyone.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we saw this philosophical video the other day, and somebody was saying like, other people can only see from the outside. They can never, they can see only the road that you did choose, not the hundred roads that you rejected that would have been worse for you.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it led us to make this really tough choice. And yeah, I lost what I was gonna say.
Yeah, no one else needs to live our life, only we do. So even we make bad decisions, I feel end of the day I feel happy because I made that decision. No one else forced me to do that.
I
That's
think
my own choice.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing is trying to live a life with as few regrets as possible, because life it just keeps going and going, and it. I was telling my daughter like it's like a river, and it's just gonna keep flowing no matter what you do. So, and one thing that we found a lot is with these big life decisions, it can take time and distance sometimes to really know what is working and what's not. And I think that's what separates our choice to leave a second time is that now we've spent 2.5 years in the UK to really know which parts we loved a lot and to really be able to accept which things just were not working for us as much as we wanted them to be. So much we wanted this to work for us, and we loved parts of it so much. Um, this length of time has been enough now for us to finally admit to ourselves that the dream that we wanted wasn't exactly what once we got it, it wasn't what we still wanted. And I think um, we uh, Julie, the other day you were saying, like, it takes courage to be able to admit that what you thought you wanted wasn't what you still wanted.
Yes, I meant to say is many times people make choices in their life and they just think they just have to live by it because they made it, and they just don't want to admit themselves like that was a wrong choice, or maybe that there was a choice good at the time, but that's not what they want right now. So they take a lot of courage to really admit that yes, I made this that choice at the time was that was working for me, but now it's not working.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
not what I wanted anymore from my life, and life is all about changing also.
yeah. And I think freedom in your life also means the freedom to change your mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Um,
now I'm gonna call my daughter and I'm gonna ask her what she's going to miss and what her thoughts are. By the way, she's just turning 11 in next couple of weeks.
yeah.
I was giving her homeschooling most of her life. For past year, she went to school in Northern Ireland and she absolutely love it. Yeah, but same time she's excited, I think, to leave also.
She's very
Let's
excited.
let's ask her. Okay, I'm gonna call her. So that's our daughter, Kiran.
Hi.
And what are your thoughts about staying in Ireland and leaving? What do you think about Ireland?
I think that there was only really one thing that kept me tethered,
Okay.
and that was the friends we made. Otherwise, there wasn't really something that mattered to me very much. But there was one thing. I love the rainbows. I love the rainbows. I've seen more rainbows here than any other place that I've ever seen in the whole world. And we've seen 32 countries.
Yeah. And what are your thoughts about like life, like daily life here?
Daily life? Daily life, I get a bit sad because you were not here, or that's how I've been feeling for a while, because you were busy at your work, and when you got home you were really tired, so there wasn't time for us to do stuff together.
Well, we were asking you about the differences in feeling between being homeschooled and being in a traditional school. What can you say about that, Karen?
I feel like um if I'm stuck on something, I can have as much time as I need to learn that, and if I'm ready to move on, I don't have to wait for 20 other people, and I can wear my pajamas when I go to school, so that's a pretty big plus.
To homeschooling. So those are pluses to homeschooling.
Yeah.
That, yeah. Okay.
Well, okay. Well, thank you for watching, and please follow us on our journey. And I'm trying to record entire journey this time to make it like documents everything, our airport, which country we going, and where we're gonna end up
Yeah, we,
in
we
our
never did
final
that before, but
destination.
we decided we really want a record of what we're doing this time
Yeah,
around,
we
I
didn't
guess.
did because I was too shy to record. This time I'm trying. Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
Thank
bye from
you.
Belfast.
Bye.
Bye.